Hey everybody, thank you guys so much for joining us again today. Class is in session. So a couple of videos ago, we posted a Ginyu Force mono green deck, and this deck profile is one we're going to showcase today against Bulma, and we'll see how it goes. Again, thank you guys so much for joining us. I don't do a whole lot my first turn. I was able to go first. I just go ahead and charge myself a Raccoon and pass my turn on to my opponent. What all he does is he charges himself a multicolored Gogeta, activates his leader's ability to draw a card, and then he passes his turn. I got one too many negates in my hand, so I go ahead and get rid of one and I charge it. Then I tap 2 energy to play Showstoppers. Showstoppers came out in the expansion set, and it's really good, and here's why. When I swing and land a hit on a leader or a unison, I'm actually able to find any Ginyu Force piece that I need and play it on board as long as it's green and it has 2 energies. So after my hit lands, I'm able to play Goldo. Activate Goldo's ability lets me look at the top 5 cards of my deck and then rearrange them in any order that I want. I'm looking for another Ginyu Force piece, which is really helpful because right now my opponent has nothing. So I swing with, he has nothing to defend with. I swing with my leader. Leader plays the top card of my deck as long as it's a Ginyu with 2 energy or less, and I play Showstoppers again. Showstoppers is one of the only pieces in the Ginyu Force that doesn't have unique, unlike the other ones, so you can have multiple ones of these on board. So Showstoppers swings again, and if the hit lands, I'm able to play another piece of the Ginyu Force. So I find myself another card, and I think I played a Jace. Now Jace is very helpful, very good, because when he swings, I'm able to look at the top 3 cards, take any Ginyu piece that I want, any Ginyu card that I want, and then put the other 2 back in top or bottom in any order that I want. So I swing with Jace 15k, and I add a Jace to my hand, and that's going to bring my opponent down to 4 life, and this is turn 2. This is only turn 2. So I go ahead and swing with Goldo here to swing at my opponent, so he's either going to take a life, bring himself down to 3, or he's going to start dropping his hand. So he has to combo out with a Nappa and a Baba. The Nappa super combo is really good, especially for red or green decks, because you combo out with it, and then you can play it on board, so you can combo with it again later. For the Bulma deck, it's really good because it's a blocker. So my opponent charges himself the red Vegito Unison. He taps 1 energy to play Baba. Baba's really nice. What she does for Bulma is that it puts a Spike, a Bandage, or a Son Gohan into the drop area, and once it does that, it is able to play either a Spike, I believe, from the drop area. Sorry about that, my mind blanked for a second. He taps another energy, plays himself a Bandages, so now he has a Bandages and a Spike and a Baba on board, along with a Nappa super combo, and all 4 of those are blockers. He awakens his leader so that he can restand 2 energies, and then he draws 2 cards and then goes ahead and swings with his leader at my leader. I don't respond. I need cards in my hand. He's got 4 life. I've got 8, so I got plenty of time. He combos out with a Mai so that he can bring himself up to 15. I go ahead and take that hit. Not too bad. I got myself a second Unison in hand, which is really helpful. And then he just passes his turn. I draw my own card in the beginning of my turn, and I charge myself a Jace. And then I activate Goldo's ability. Sorry, I can't speak today. Look at the top 5 cards in my deck, and then rearrange them in any order that I want. And this is helpful for my leader skill, so I swing with my leader, and my leader reveals the top card. If it's a Ginyu card, like I mentioned before, I actually just get to play it. So I go ahead and reveal that. I play that card, and I have myself 5 Ginyu Force cards on board. Now this really sucks. My opponent does really well when he plays this Great Ape. This Great Ape, what it does is that if you combo or play this card, he gets to choose all of my battle cards with 15k power and kill them. Every single Ginyu Force card on the board has 15k. So he did really well that turn, really well defending, but I need to build my board back up, and it's going to be a little slower than I expected, so I just play my Unison, swing with my Unison, kind of just trying to bait his hand out, trying to get rid of blockers. Bulma's hand is never too small, so that's nothing that people actually ever have to worry about. So he just uses a blocker and he kills the card. And the crazy thing about Bandages and Spike is that when they die, I think they bring back another one. I'm not sure if my opponent does that this turn, but I go ahead and activate my Unison's ability, give him 2 extra markers, and it gives all my green battle cards on my side of the field, mono green battle cards. It goes ahead and gives them revenge, but I don't have any because my opponent did a wonderful job at clearing board. Opponent swings at me, straight at my leader, don't respond. And then he combos with the Nappa on board, and then he taps 1 energy to a rival the same Gogeta he uses energy earlier. But I respond with Charismatic Villain, the Frieza counterplay card, so that I can go ahead and kill it, because that card is really good. I think it's an inherent double strike, and it takes something off the board. And I still go ahead and take that damage. I didn't negate the attack, I didn't do anything, I just counterplayed. So he just passes his turn after he swings. He's got 2 energy up, so I'm thinking he's going to Topo. And we'll find out very, very soon. I was going to charge a Jace for the beginning of my turn, but I already have a Jace in the energy, and I don't want to use too many of them. So I just tap 2 energy, and I play myself a Goldo. Activate Goldo's ability. Again, look at the top 5, rearrange cards in any order that I want. And again, that's really helpful for my leader. If you guys notice, I was able to awaken turn 2 without taking any damage earlier, because I'm able to, if I have 4 Ginyu battle cards on board, doesn't matter which ones, I can go ahead and awaken and draw 2 cards, which gives me a significant hand advantage here. Not necessarily against Bulma, but typically against anybody else. So with my leader skill, I play a Raccoon. Raccoon plays a card from my hand, and then I get to draw. So again, I have 3 Ginyu Force cards on board, and I have myself a Frieza. But I keep certain cards in my hand just in case my opponent is going to use a card again. So I swing with Jace because I want the draw power. And then I add myself a Showstoppers to hand, and I'm about to see what my opponent does. So I think his Videl negate dies, but I go ahead and swing with Raccoon at his leader again. And now I know that my opponent does not have a Topo, or is saving a Topo, and he's using blocker after blocker right here again and again. And that blocker dies, plays a Spike. I swing with Goldo again. See, typically you don't want to swing with Goldo, and he uses Baba as a blocker here. Typically, you don't want to swing with Goldo. My opponent takes this move back, so it doesn't matter. You don't want to swing with Goldo because your opponent just swing at him. But my Unison gives my green battle cards revenge, which is really, really helpful. So that way it kind of like discourages your opponent from swinging at them and tries to get them off the board with skills. And my opponent does the same thing again with his Great Ape, and he wipes my board again. And I thought it was a little funny. He's doing really good. Now that I see what this card can do, this is something that I might even sideboard later on. But I kept Showstoppers in my hand for that reason, just in case he had another one. So I have the ability to, if possible, rebuild my board back up. And he knows what Showstoppers does, but he does not respond anyways. So I think what he does is he just combos out of this one, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to try and swing anyhow. So yep, my opponent goes ahead and he combos 2 cards. One's an extra card, and a Topo gives his leader 5k, and then the Topo gives him an extra 5k. Activate my Unison's ability, give it 2 more markers, and then give my Showstoppers revenge, just to discourage my opponent from swinging at me. He charges himself the Jiren Unison, wonderful Unison. Then he activates his leader's ability to draw 2 cards. Then my opponent taps 3 energy to play himself a Jiren. Jiren is really, really good, one of the best Unisons out there. And this is what he does. He gives Jiren 1 marker, and it gains double strike. So he's a 20k base. That's 20k double strike at my Unison. And I go ahead and do Sparking and Negate, and so that I can kill his blockers. I want his blockers off board, so I can start swinging at him and with everything that I got. He just passes his turn right here. I draw myself a Birder, and I charge a Jace. Now, I probably shouldn't have done that, but here I swing with my Unison at his Unison because I want to bring him below 3 markers. If I bring him below 3 markers, he can't activate his ability and just kill one of my cards on my side during his turn. So then I swing with Showstoppers at his Unison, and I activate my leader's ability to give my Ginyu Force battle card plus 10k, and that's only once per turn. And that makes it a 25, and because his Unison lost a marker, I'm able to play a Raccoon from the deck. I play Raccoon. Raccoon allows me to play Birder, and I'm building my board back slowly but surely, which is something that this deck is very, very good at doing. So I go ahead and swing with 15k at his leader, and don't remember, he just takes that. He goes ahead and he just takes that, and then I swing with my leader at his leader. I haven't seen my opponent use any of his counterplays, any of the I can't remember the name of the card off the top of my head. It's the Yamcha counterplays, so I'm not too worried about it. And then I whiff right here with my leader. My leader's ability doesn't go off, but I do get to draw a card, and it's still just a 15k swing at my leader. Like I was saying before, because my opponent hasn't activated any counterplays, I'm not too worried about killing his Unison. And taking a double strike to the life isn't that big of a deal right now, because I have much more life than he does. Then I swing with my Birder straight at his leader, and he goes ahead and he starts comboing cards out. Now, my opponent can very easily just wipe me out right now. If he has the secret, he can wipe my board, he can swing at my leader, and that's why I'm trying to keep myself at 5. But I just try to play more cards. I get to play that card for free because Showstoppers is on board, just so that I can continue to do a little bit more pressure at my leader. I just want him to drop his hand, or I want him to take life. I want him to be afraid. If he drops his life down to 1, I can activate my Unison's ability so that I can take an extra life from him, but he combos out of that very easily. But now his hand size is much smaller, which is something that it's a plus for me. And that's something that I want to encourage people that like to do a lot of pressure. Don't view it as giving your opponent value. You view it as something that's just getting rid of your opponent's hand size. Swing at him, swing at him, swing at him as much as you can, so that they drop cards from their hand, or they can bring their life down. Any bit of advantage that you can have over your opponent, use it. So I have plenty of energy up. My opponent activates his skill on his Unison, so that gives him double strike, and he swings at my Unison, which was genius, because now I won't be able to use my Unison's ability. So I activate Dormant Potential Unleashed, and I pitch a Dormant Potential Unleashed because I have another Dormant Potential Unleashed in my hand. And he's not swinging as much, so I don't really need that very, very much. But I'm just blocking everything that I can, because I don't want to bring myself down below. I don't want to bring myself down to 4 life. I'm sorry about that. I don't want to bring myself down to 4 life, because I don't want him to play his secret. His secret does quad strike damage to me, and that's something that I was trying to prepare for. So I go ahead and swing at my opponent with the Showstoppers again, and he negates with Android 17. He hasn't used the topo quite yet. Android 17 is really, really nice. What this does is it allows him to play an Earthling card, or I think it's a red card with an energy cost of 1 from his drop area, which gives him an extra blocker. And then when Baba's played, she gets to do a couple of different things, put things in the drop area and then play a card. But I'm trying to kill his blockers, so I don't go after Android 17, because Android 17 isn't a blocker. So I go after Baba with my counterplay, and I go ahead and kill his Baba so that he doesn't get that extra counter. Now he's got 4 cards in his hand and 3 energy up, so he could very easily just play a topo. But I don't think my opponent does that. He's just using blockers, and I'm just swinging 15k, 15k, 15k as much as I possibly can. I swing with Birder again at his leader, and he activates what seems to be his final blocker. And his Unison's down at 2 counters, so it's very, very nice that he won't be able to use that ability. I could be wrong, but then I go ahead and swing with everything I got here, because I want to do that extra damage so that I can activate my Unison's ability. But then my opponent does something that I didn't expect, didn't see coming. He just uses this combo right here. He's not trying to save his blocker, he's trying to kill my card so that he doesn't take this damage here. He plays a card, and I go ahead and just lose those 3 battle cards, which essentially could have been extra swings. Swing with my leader, hoping for some luck here, hoping to reveal a Ginyu Force card so I can build that board again, because my hand is not looking too good. And he activates a blocker here. I reveal the top card, and I do not get lucky. I just shuffle the deck and draw 1 more card. And now I have myself a Ginyu the Body Snatcher here in my hand. So again, just trying to do pressure, just trying to swing with my Unison at his leader. And he goes ahead and he activates this blocker right here, which is a 20k blocker and also a 20k attacker. I tap 4 energy and play Ginyu the Body Snatcher, because he's inherently double strike, so if my opponent takes this, he loses the game. So I swing 20k double strike, 30k double strike, sorry, he gains a +10 off his own ability. So that's 30k double strike straight at his leader. And this is where my opponent, he kind of does himself dirty. He should have activated this topo negate earlier, but he does it right now. We had a bit of a conversation, so I kind of cut that out because it's a little extensive. He thought that he didn't have to pitch, but topo does say that you have to pitch a card. So now he's got no cards in hand, and all he has is the cards on board. Potentially he could get lucky because his leader does draw a lot. He could get lucky and get a secret and then wipe me out, because I only have 2 cards in my hand and nothing to show for it. So my opponent activates his Unison's ability, and now he's at 4 markers, and that's 20 double strike. So I go ahead and don't negate, but I activate Dormant Potential Unleash, pitch a card, kill one of his blockers. Dormant Potential Leash does not negate, but it only allows my opponent to swing one more time. So I go ahead and take those 2 life, and then he swings Double Strike at my Unison. Don't respond. And then my Unison, I believe, is going to have to lose these 2 markers, just because I don't really have anything else. If he would have swung at my life, I probably would have had to take that as well. And then he swings another 20k straight at my leader. I don't activate anything. I'll go ahead and take that as well. And I've brought myself down to 2 life, and he has one more 20k swing on board. And he goes ahead and he swings straight at my leader. But now my hand is looking a little bit better. Actually looking at things that I'm able to use. My opponent taps 3 energy and plays Mutiato, a vanilla card, and he does not go for game, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Could have gone for game just to get cards out of my hand. He has no clue what I have in my hand. For all he knows, I just got a bunch of bummy cards, but that's not what happened. He just didn't swing, and I think he would rather go for defense than go for anything else. So I take a second here to think about what I want to do, and I swing with my 20k Double Strike at his Unison. And I want to go ahead and get his Unison's ability out of the way if possible, and he goes ahead and activates that, I believe, just to kill my card, or not to kill my card, but to defend himself as much as he possibly can. Then I swing with Showstoppers at his leader, so that I can get another card on board if possible, but he activates the Mutiato blocker here. And that's going to be 15k at his 30k, so his card survives, and I swing another 15k at his leader here. And he's got no more blockers on board. I have no clue what he has in his hand. I just know that he doesn't have a Flying Nimbus, so it's okay. So he activates here, I think it's a regular Videl negate, which gives him an extra blocker, so I swing an extra 15k at his leader here, and he activates blocker. He's not taking any chances right now. So I'm trying to think of what I want to do here. I want him to take this extra damage because I want to play the other Unison in my hand. This is the Vegeta Resolute, Agent of Destruction. So I don't get to play the card off my leader skill, but I do get to draw a card. Now I have 2 super combos here, which is the best thing I could have hoped for. Because now I combo, so that's 25, 35, 45 single strike at his leader. I'm not trying to do a double strike here. I just want him to take that extra card in his hand so that I can play my Unison, so that I can wipe his board and wipe his hand. And that way I can swing with the 15k that's left in my hand. So what I do here is I activate all 5 energy so that I'm able to play Vegeta Resolute, Agent of Destruction. He comes on board with 5 markers. He activates his Jiren's ability to make it -10, so he's at 10k base now. So the swing most likely won't go through because he has cards in his hand, but my goal isn't to swing here. My goal is to wipe his board and to wipe his hand. So I pitch a card so that I can get rid of all the cards on his field, because that's what Vegeta does. When he's played, choose all your opponent's cards, ignoring barrier, blow them up, and then you pitch a card to resolve that effect. And then I -5, took 5 markers off my Unison so that he dropped the last 2 cards in his hand. I played this Ginyu for free, and then I swing 15k at his leader for game. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys missed the deck profile, I have the deck actually right here. I'm also going to drop a link down on the video so you can actually go take a look at that deck profile if you like. But if you don't want to listen to me talk, I have it right here for you. I also have a green-yellow variant that I might be posting pretty soon if you guys are interested in that. Let us know down in the comments, and if there's anything we can do for y'all, just let us know. We're praying for you guys always. Thanks a whole bunch. Bye.